What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing tonight? We are here live with Chris Grigg.
What's going on, bub?
What's happening? How you doing, partner?
Oh, good, man. How about you?
Good. Right off the bat, how many people says your last name with an S on it?
Man, I've been fighting that my entire life, but it is Grigg. There is no S. Like I always said, God forbid if y'all had to deal with two of me. One's enough trouble.
Oh yeah, because I can't tell you how many times somebody says, "Who is that? Who is that? Is that Chris Griggs? Is that Griggs?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I just leave it at that. Just yeah.
Like I said, at this point, I've just about quit correcting people. There's a few times, but like I said, but officially it is Grigg.
All right. We'd like to welcome everybody. This is a quick interview. It might not be quick, depends on how many people want to comment and ask questions. And I got a couple of questions for Chris also. But first and foremost, if you can share this out to your pages, uh, your personal pages. I'm gonna share it out to the Rock Racing TV and Bouncer Life group. So if you are watching this, please give us a thumbs up. The thumbs up and the shares is what makes everybody grow. And I want to grow just like Chris Grigg want to grow. And is it out the top or on the top?
On the top.
On the top. His on the top page wants to grow, and it's all about growing this bouncer family. So let me get this
Yeah.
Bouncer Life group. There it is. All right. Now let me get over here to so I could read some comments. That's what I like to see. I like to see comments.
All right. Let me go ahead and get this shared on my end.
We already got a couple. Oh, Daniel Heckley's already on you.
Oh, what's
Heckley
going
said,
on, Daniel?
Chris, or Daniel said, Chris, is that your gaming headset, bro? Jack Hollingsworth said, "What's up? Hope all is well." He's your he is your drone guy for the National Rock Racing Association. We do appreciate him. He's a great dude to be around. I always make sure I go see make my try to make my rounds and go see people before the race. Ask them how they're doing. And Jack's just one of those guys I always try to get with and make sure he's doing all right. If he needs anything, let me know. And but yeah, Cody Cason's sitting here watching with us.
Going
Uh,
on?
Down Heckley, Jack. So we appreciate y'all for watching. Like I said, try to share this out. Uh, we're gonna get down to it. Chris, you was in what people call a juggy, a Jeep buggy
Yeah.
last year, 2 years ago.
Two
That's
years ago.
it's the
Almost.
orange and white one.
Yep.
A lot of people remembers you at finals at Oklahoma,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah. That third hill there was no joke.
that was a good time. That was awesome.
Oh yeah.
But where you from,
Uh,
and where did all this start at? Like where four wheeling, your very first beginning of four wheeling, and then you could go into the Jeep, and then right after the Jeep, we're gonna get some questions answered, and then we'll go into the buggy. So, how did you get started in four wheeling, all the way up until the end of the Jeep?
all right, that's a long story because I've been at this since off roading's all I've been doing since pretty much 2011. Um, but I'm from Kernersville, North Carolina. Started drag racing 2009, 2010. Did that when I first got out of high school and college. Um, and my aunt and uncle had a Jeep that I purchased from them in college, and it needed tires, so I put 31s on it. And next year, it needed tires, so I put a 4-inch lift, 33s. And then the
Locked it.
next year, yeah, lockers came at some point in there.
There you go.
Um, Then got up to 36s, body lift 36s, still stock axles. And then, like I said, 2011, I just kind of got burned out on the drag racing stuff, and got in. Had some buddies. We'd go run, local power line trails, sewer line trails. Just playing in the mud, hill climb, stuff like that. Went down to Gulch's off-road park in Waterloo, South Carolina.
Is
For
that
the
good?
Yes, it's a very good park. Kind of on the smaller side, but absolutely worth the trip if you haven't gone. Great folks down there. Highly recommend it. But like I said, went down to Gulch's, and that was my first time where I really saw what rock crawling, trail bouncing was. So from there, I was hooked. Then that Jeep, that one went on half tons, got stretched on leaf springs. I think it was on 38s. Then eventually I went to 1 tons, 4 linked back. Did the V8 swap, was on 39s. Then we put it on 44s, and then I totaled it at a race at the local off-road park. Gosh, that's probably been 7 years now.
Wow.
Years now. Came off the tabletop sideways, went flying through the air, sent it to the scrap yard, and me to the hospital. They didn't find,
Dang.
yeah, they didn't find anything wrong with me, but a couple loose screws, thankfully.
It's still like that too, huh?
Oh yeah. Once I get out there, this is how I take my frustrations out is with that skinny pedal.
There you go.
So the orange and white Jeep, it came to be after I totaled that one. That's the second Jeep based rig I had. That one was a full fabricated square tube chassis underneath it, built to be a dedicated trail rig. And I trail rode it, the hardcore Southeastern trail riding. Did that for 3 or 4 years. Of course, I'd always watched the rock bouncers. I'd done some racing, off-road racing at a local level, some of the local off-road parks. And I had that itch to run with the bouncers, but just really, couldn't afford a full-blown bouncer. And, I said, I was at a point where I could afford to do the travel and I had the time to do it. I said, I've always dreamed of doing this, so I'm going to go do it.
There you go.
Showed up, kind of brought a butter knife to a gunfight. Now it was a good butter knife.
Yeah.
But like I said, there's a big difference between a crawler, trail and something that's more based, be a trail rig than a full blown race bouncer.
Yeah.
Especially the way the technologies came within the last, 5 or 6 years.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. So you started racing with the big boys, and soon enough you decided, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna need something a little bit bigger, a little bit better, a little bit better parts. So how did you get from the Jeep to, I'm gonna say, a bouncer, because this ain't your first bouncer. You bought one, you bought one or traded for one or something, and then you got this one. So how did all that go down?
Well, that was at the end of 2021. Like I said, I'm a competitive driver. I want to go out there and be competitive. And I just knew the Jeep wasn't going to be competitive. I was at the limits of it, so I knew I had to do something. And got a few promotions at work, so had a little extra spending money from several years ago, and saved up a bunch. And so I'd been in the market toward the end of 2021. Found one I thought would work. Drove all the way to Wisconsin to go get it. And then was kind of at a financial standstill for a little while I was waiting on the Jeep to sell. It finally sold. And then, just to make a long story short, that first one I bought just quite didn't work out. And we're just going to leave it at that.
Okay.
So that gets us to roughly end of October, beginning of November of 2022. So I was able to use a bunch of parts off that one I'd bought. Reused the base motor, of course, went through it, made a ton of changes on it. Had a Fritz Turbo 400, was able to reuse that. Had MP205 in it, I was able to reuse that. Was able to reuse the yokes off the drive shaft. Of course, had to change the length of them and retubed them for the new chassis. Like I said, had a Holley fuel injection system. I was able to reuse that. I think we had a Corbeau seat I was able to reuse, and it's just a bunch of other smaller knickknacks.
Right.
That's kind of why I stripped it down and sold it as a rolling chassis versus selling it as a complete buggy.
Yeah.
But so I was in the market, and I was looking for a dedicated race bouncer. I wanted something that was going to be competitive, something that was going to, hold up to what I was going to throw at it. Because, we all know I'm not afraid to stand on it. And, you know, really something that I felt safe in, and that something that could just take the abuse. And, of course, I'd reached out to a few companies, and I was, at this point, I'd already been out for a year. And when I first got into all this, I said, I'll miss a couple races. I'll be back for the 2022 season. So, here we are looking at a brand new from scratch build, so I'm chomping at the bit. I'm ready. And like I said, reached out to a few reputable builders within the industry. Couldn't quite find anything within the timeline. And then I just happened to be scrolling through the Bouncer Life group on the Saturday before Thanksgiving.
Shout out Brian Bebo Watt.
You ain't lying. And just happened to be looking for a guy had posted in there. He was looking to buy a bouncer, so I was scrolling through the comments, seeing what was there. And I saw Adam Woodley posted a picture of the Redneck rocket ship and said, we're fixing to start offering this one to the public. So I messaged Adam that day. He said, call the shop Monday. And like I said, ended up driving up there that Tuesday night, not even knowing if we were going to be able to make a deal.
Wow.
And of course, obviously, like I said, we were able to come together and work with something within using my parts and my budget. So I took delivery on the Bear rolling chassis, wide open design rocket ship chassis number 2, at the start of February. They, of course, like I said, did the chassis, did the 4 links front and rear, mounted my steering, mounted the axles, mounted the shocks, mounted the motor transmission transfer case.
So you took everything to Adam and his people.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic group of guys up there. Cannot say enough good about them.
That's in is that Middle Tennessee?
Yeah, Murfreesboro, Tennessee, right outside of Nashville.
Okay, I plan to go out there and see Adam and Jason Washburn, and I want to take a tour of the facility, and I've been wanting to go for a while now, and I haven't. I'm only a couple hours from it, so I'm gonna make it a point that I'm gonna go before this year's over with to go see the facility, because I love their chassis. I love everything they do there is top notch. And I just seen, speaking of Bouncer Life, I believe it was Bebo that posted some wide open designs, shirts and hats and merch.
Oh yeah.
So I gotta. Well, that's right. I see it. I gotta go get me some, because I support everybody. I don't care if you're a Reject Fab Buggy, if you're Adam Woodley Buggy, it doesn't matter to me. I Busted Knuckle Buggy. I support everybody. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go get some merch. So you go to Adam, you say, hey, this is what I need. And how quick was the turnaround? Was it a while, or
they did it in 2 months?
So a complete chassis and put everything together in 2 months.
Yeah, like I said, they it was just a bare skeleton rolling chassis. Of course, there was no interior, no sheet metal, no seats, radiator, fuel cell, no plumbing, no wiring. But like I said, just a bare bones rolling chassis.
That ain't bad as far as time, because
they were dead on their timeline and right within budget.
That's awesome.
Which
That's
to me were 2 very important things.
And people that don't know who Adam is, he's an OG of the rock bouncing scene. He's been around since I guess you could say, the inception of rock bouncing. He has done so much for the sport, and I haven't even reached out to him to see if he would like to come on the show. A lot of people don't, because they're real shy, but I think I'm gonna get a hold of Adam just to see if he don't come on, if he don't care to come on here and share some of his story. Last time I seen Adam, he was at a rock crawling event last year in Dayton, Tennessee.
All right.
And that was the last time I seen him. So you go down there. How often? Because you're in North Carolina.
North Carolina.
So you're in North Carolina. He's in Middle Tennessee, Murfreesboro. How often did you have to go back and forth to? Because I know you had to get fitted for the seat height and all that stuff.
Yeah,
So
that was one thing they had to do on the chassis. From where I'm a little bigger guy than Wes, they had to stretch the chassis lengthwise and heighthwise to accommodate me in the drivetrain I'm running. Um, but like I said, it worked out really good because the first time I went up there to make the hopefully make the initial deal, they just happened to have Wes's up there doing some work on it.
gotcha.
So we went up there the next weekend to drop off some more parts, and the next trip up there was to pick it up, which is good because a round trip from my house to Wide Open Design and back is right at 1,000 miles.
Whoo-wee.
Yeah, it was a. I made the drive the first time by myself, and then my dad rode with me the next 2 times.
Okay. Speaking of your dad, I just met your dad at the last race,
Oh yeah,
and your mom. That was pretty awesome.
yeah,
Uh,
they're
what they think about? Well, we'll get into that. We'll get into that race and everything. So let's stick to the game plan. So
all right.
you got the chassis, or you got everything from Adam and Wide Open Design. I keep saying Adam, but it's his
Yeah.
people.
Oh,
Him
absolutely,
and his people can't never leave out his people because
absolutely.
they're
It's definitely a
like
team effort up there.
a lot of people say busted knuckle and Jake Berkey's chassis. Well, or Justin Holt and Reject Fab Buggy. There's people behind the scenes. Now, Justin Holt, he might do it by himself because I haven't heard any different. I'm sure Sean may help him, but with Jake Berkey, he's got a group of people. So I never want to leave out the people behind the scenes. They need credit as well. But so
Absolutely.
you go to Wide Open Design, you get everything, you take it back to your house. What's the next step?
Uh, Next step, like I said, at this point, I think the first thing we did once we got it back was set the driver's seat in it and said, "Okay, where am I going to go?" you know. So got that mounted, and then from there it was mounting pedals, gas pedal, brake pedal, orbital, building the steering column, getting the radiator in it, getting the fuel cell in it. Um, like I said, getting the drive shafts built. That was one of the first things we did. We did luck out on this one, and from where I'm running a high pinion front end in those fabricated housings that I was able to that I supplied. Um, that's another thing. That's another good thing is those housings were not originally spec'd for this chassis. Uh, Matt Cutler with Cutler Fab up in Mount Airy, he helped me spec the axles, and they were spec'd for the first chassis I'd bought. Their S&S Fab housings, and of course East Coast Gear Supply built the third members and supplied all the internal parts. Another great company, been working with them for years on the axle side of things. So they were a big help in getting all that and making that happen. But it just got so lucky that the actual axles that I'd spec'd for another buggy fit in this chassis perfect.
Hmm.
If the pinion would have been over a half an inch on the front end, it wouldn't have worked. That's how tight it was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. Shoot. So you getting everything together, getting everything suited and booted, ready to go racing.
Mm-hmm.
You get finished with the buggy when? And when is your first race?
Well, they're never finished. A race car is never done.
That's
But
true.
the first time it moved under its own power was at 9 p.m. on a Friday, and we were racing at 8 a.m. a Saturday, 2 states away in West Virginia.
Dang. First time under power was late at night, and then the next morning you're racing it.
Yeah, well, like I
Wow.
said, it came that we were hanging the body on it Friday. Me and Nate, again, Nathan Chrismanic, he's one of my buddies here. He's crew chief. Guy has done a ton of work for me, been my right hand man. Cannot thank him enough for all he's done. So great guy right there.
Does he come to races with you as well?
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Because some people that work on the buggies, they need to come to the race, to
Yeah.
just to see what I mean, some people they just want to work on the buggy and help you out, and maybe they got plans with their family or something, so they can't
Oh yeah.
come. That's good that he actually gets to come and watch you. So how in the world did you do at the race, at that first race, since you just got it going the night before? How did
Like I
that
said,
race go?
we got it going 9 p.m. the night before. Uh, Took it from my folks' house over to my house, hot lapped it around my yard. Can't tear up my parents' yard, but I'll tear up mine in a heartbeat.
There you go.
Made about 10 laps around the yard. Said, okay, it seems to work pretty good. The tune and the motor's questionable. A few things are questionable, but for the most part, everything works, feels pretty good. So we put it on the big trailer. We pulled into West Virginia at 3:30 in the morning.
Whew.
We did have one brake leak we had to fix. The left front hard line had a leak in it from a bad flare. Found that when we were driving it around the yard. So we fixed that before we went to bed Saturday night, morning, whatever you want to call it. Got to bed, about 4:30, and we were back up at 8 in the morning. Like I said, me, Nate, and then John McGreeny came over. We set the final, ride heights on it, set the springs, set all that stuff up the best we could, set tire pressures, hit the race, went down to the race. And first race, well, could have been a whole lot worse. Just making it there was a success. But I actually had still, again, no clue what the chassis was going to do. We had gotten the shocks. The Chris Wizzo did his big block, to put a base tune in the shocks. But again, no clue what the chassis was going to do, no clue what the motor was going to do. So I hit that first hill pretty conservative. And about the third run at it, didn't make it, went to back off to get another run, and brake pedal went straight to the floor. Yeah, rolled backwards.
How was that feeling? Was that a pucker feeling?
That was yeah. That's a good way to put it, bub. Because the visibility in these things, when you're strapped in with that Hans and the helmet, you have zero visibility backwards.
Mm-hmm.
So tried to put the motor down in first gear. Of course, the motor stalled out from where it wasn't running right. Then just kind of put my head against the headrest, and then I just figured, I'm going to hit a tree. This is going to hurt, but we'll be all right. Somehow I didn't hit a tree and just kept rolling. Yeah. I don't know how I did it. But ended up way further back than what I wanted to. Thankfully, the driver front hooked a tree, snapped a coil carrier shaft on the left front. And like I said, nobody was hurting me, myself, nor spectators. So again, thank the good Lord upstairs on that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because that was what I was more concerned. I wasn't concerned about myself as much as I was somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. So you was done for the day?
Yeah, like I said, at that point, between the lack of sleep, the broke shock on the left front, the broke brake line, we just called it a day right there. It's normally not our style. I thought about that and I said, man, I should have gone out and at least got my 10 points for attempting the second hill. But like I said, we've been pushing hard, for months to get that thing ready within that short of timeline with the amount of work it takes, to build one of these things.
So did you just say, screw it, I'm going to get some rest, or did you watch the rest of the race?
Oh, I watched the rest of the race.
Okay.
Absolutely. I watched the rest of the race. Like I said, we had some family come up from where that was a relatively close race for us North Carolina folk. We cooked out down at the holler afterwards, and I finally got to bed. I think about dark. I think they were doing a barrel race up there. I did not stay awake for the barrel race.
Yeah, I headed home. I got something to eat afterwards, and I don't know what I was thinking. That race out, because we hadn't ate all day, me, my son, and my buddy Bob, and I was like, let's go up here, let's grab a hamburger, then we'll hurry up and get down to the podiums. Well, that didn't happen. After we got done eating, somebody come by and said, oh, they already done the podiums. I'm like, no. So yeah, I missed the podiums that day. But all right, so you get back home from the race. I'm assuming you fix everything, you get everything tightened up, and you head out to the next race.
Well, there was 2 weekends between that race, or 1 weekend between that race. So we got home, like I said, that Sunday. Monday, I was on the phone with Wizzo, wide open, was able to find a shock shaft, got that to me. Alliance Hose and Tube in Greensboro, here's a local company. They do hydraulic hoses and fittings, that type of stuff. They did the brake lines. And the way they did them, they were DOT approved. But for our application, DOT approved isn't always the best thing. So I
Right.
was able to go and talk with them, showed them a couple of videos of what we were doing. Of course, like whenever you explain a rock bouncer to somebody, and show them a video, their eyes get about that big.
Yeah.
They go, "Oh yeah, this ain't gonna work." So we ended up changing all the soft lines at all four wheels. That's what broke on the left rear that caused the main brake failure.
Hmm.
Of course, they stood behind it, made it right. So big props to those people. Great company. Did that, got the shock shaft on it, and then one of my friends from South Carolina, he put me in touch with his engine tuner. So the next Saturday, I went down to South Carolina, got up with the motor tuner, got the engine tuned, and then from there I went down to Gulch's Off-Road Park just to get some seat time in the buggy. Made a couple hot laps. Spent the weekend down there just working on the suspension, trying to get it dialed in a little better. Again texting back and forth with Wizzo. He's been a huge help on helping me get these bypasses figured out and learning
He's a
how to
good
adjust
dude.
them.
Good
You
dude.
ain't lying, sharp dude too.
Yeah.
So that was that, and then of course testing went well, didn't break anything. Got the motor, motor just didn't seem quite right. This was the first LS I'd done, and like I said, I tore this motor down to the short block, changed the cam, valve springs, timing chain, oil pump. I mean, the list goes on. Just a lot of, it's stock bottom in, 5.3 in it, but, you know, but
5.3.
yeah,
And you're racing with guys that's got 1,400 horsepower, and you got how much?
I might be 480, 500 at the flywheel.
Oh man. How's that feeling going out there? And you talking about bringing a knife to a gunfight? Now at least you got a longer knife this time with
We got a 22 now.
yeah, that's a perfect way of putting it. There you go.
Like I said, we're in the ballpark. We're in the ballpark now. I feel like I said I can make it up with with driving skill, and every now and then the right lucky bounce. I feel right now, like I said, we are a lot more competitive than I ever was in that Jeep, and that was proved this past weekend,
Yeah.
especially for the
Oh,
second time out. But yeah, like I said, so went down to South Carolina, and everything felt right, but the motor just, I don't know, it just didn't seem right. And so I was scratching my head, I was going back and forth with the tuner, and I just, like I said, this reputable guy, just I didn't say that, but something just, just something's not right on a motor. Just felt like it was down on power. And I said, being a small block guy, I said, man, these LSs, they just don't have any low end grunt to them. And I was pressure washing it off the night before the race. Because again, the regular job had gotten in the way, and I had a headlight on, on my head, and I was pressure washing, and the headlight battery died. And I looked down at number 7 cylinder, and I just saw this boop, 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 boop. Had a bad brand new spark plug. Had been on 2 weeks.
oh no.
Not a plug that had been burned by a header. It
Yeah.
was arcing from the boot to the actual flange.
Wow.
It wasn't arcing to a header tube, like a header tube got too hot and burned it up.
Yeah.
But picked up a new set of plug wires day before the race, before we left for Alabama. Again, did a few quick test passes in my yard, data logged it through the Holly stuff, and man, right away, I swear I picked up 100 horsepower.
Dang.
I said, okay, we're good.
I bet you was like, yeah,
Oh,
let's
you ain't
go.
lying, because I'm going like, did I just get something off when I built this motor? Is my combination of parts not right? You know, or these LS is just this overrated? And I'm going, okay, never mind. User error, just bad new part. One of the hardest things to diagnose.
Yep.
But
Oh
it's
yeah.
like so.
Talking about horsepower and stuff, Alexander says, I know how that is. Talking about being under horsepowered. I believe he's got some big turbos put on his though, don't he?
I'm not sure.
I thought he did. Maybe I'm mistaken rib cage for somebody else. But all right, so you get everything ready to go to Hawk Pride.
Mm-hmm.
Hawk Pride is known for Maverick, which is real rocky, and you have no clue, or when you went and tested down at Gulches or whatever, did they have rocks like Hawk Pride, or is it just
Uh,
more or less hill killing?
Gulches is more of what I call like a rock crawling park. They've got some bigger rock sections.
So
Not
about like
necessarily.
Maverick, is it about like Maverick?
Not anything that bad.
Okay,
They've got some stuff, but I mean, kind of similar. But again, being wheeling in the southeast, Maverick itself, that was stuff that we've that I've been on for a while.
okay.
I was more concerned about the second hill than I was Maverick.
so
Turns
you've
out it
been so you've been to Hawk Pride before.
had not been on that particular hill, but just similar type terrain. Like I said,
Oh,
rock
okay.
crawling kind of is my background before I got into the racing stuff. In the technical rock section. So
I
I
got you.
figured like I said, I had a pretty good idea on the line and just caught a funny bounce on that first hill, on that first hit, and then spent way too much time over on that left side again. Like I said, I was honestly, just playing with the buggy and just seeing what the buggy would do because it's still all very much a learning curve to me as a driver.
Oh yeah.
How to hit stuff, how the buggy's going to react, and
Look, look at Brandon. Look, all last year, was learning in
yeah,
Menace, and look at him this year. He's
hmm
he's he's in it this year.
oh yeah,
He's a totally different driver than what he used to be in Menace.
yeah.
That's just my thoughts. Alexander says, I used to not. I have the power now, though. Laugh out loud. Stock 6.0 plus eBay Turbo equals a good time. Oh, okay, I thought you had quite a bit more horsepower now, Alex. I, I thought so.
eBay turbo and a little bit of corn. Can't go wrong with that.
There you go. There you go. So you get to Hawk Pride. Do you get there at 9 p.m. Friday
Uh,
night?
we actually did much better. We got there at I think we pulled in about 6 p.m. On the way
Okay.
up there. Stopped by Go Forth. No, another thing I learned at West Virginia is we needed a little more bite, so made the phone call to get two new Donnie Millers on the back of it.
There you go.
That hurt. That's the first set of stickies I'd bought since 2020, and holy cow, have those
Oh,
things gone up? Go Forth
oh,
it's still your man, still the
oh,
best price out there, but
oh,
holy cow, have
definitely.
they gone up?
Oh yeah. Well, plus you're not just buying a tire.
Yeah, you're
You're paying one man that's got the size of an arm of Hulk Hogan, just one arm, just grooving away at them brand new tires. Oh, Donnie, I talk to him every time I go out there to get some tires for drivers. And of course, I bought my set out there also. But yeah, he's out there grooving away. I'm like, holy crap. He's like, yeah. I was like, how many can you do in one day? I I can't remember if he said three or four, but
either.
that takes all day. And I'm like, I don't know how you do it, but Donnie's a good dude. Scott's a good dude. He's got good.
Absolutely.
He's about 40 minutes from my house, but 20-25 from work. So, but yeah, I always go there and get stuff. Of course, that's on your way now, so I don't need to tell you, hey, if you need anything, let me know because you just if it's west, then you're driving right by.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I think trying to think of the upcoming races. I think on the way to Kentucky we don't go to Rush. I don't think we go through there, and we didn't go through there on the way to West Virginia. But everything else we're hitting that stretch of 40.
yeah, uh, Alex said, "Awesome job on the last race." Yep,
Thank you,
Alex,
man.
we're about to get into that now. So you get there at 6 p.m.
Yeah, and
and
we'd also took a little bit of a detour and swung by Wide Open Design just to let them check out the buggy. That's the first time they'd seen it done. They were about 40 minutes out of the way, but like I said, those guys, much help as they gave me and technical knowledge as they were willing to share, just good way to give back to them and go, hey man, I appreciate what all y'all have done.
oh yeah, definitely got to get back to your peeps.
Absolutely.
So you get there 6 p.m. I'm sure you walked down to the hills, check out the hills. You didn't even walk down there.
Nope, that's one of my things. I don't look at the race hill until the day of.
Oh, okay. All right.
So
Alex says I spray that windshield washer juice in 3 bottles of heat. Uh, Justin Will says, "Who's this guy?" Hey, that's your fellow North Carolina guy right there. Him and Shepard, and who else is out there? I know Mangreny's out there, but he ain't.
Oh yeah,
Anybody else out
McGreeny
there?
sold his. We got Richard Hodges out here.
Oh, is he out there?
Yeah,
Okay, I
yeah,
didn't know where he's from.
he's about 30, 40 minutes, little north of us, but still North Carolina.
Okay, I got you. I'm I'm waiting on old Shepard to build a big buggy because
Yeah, he needs to.
I love his work.
Oh
His
yeah,
his UTVs are just my favorites. But
absolutely.
so next morning comes around, race day, race morning. Uh, Tell me from the time you get up, you eat breakfast, or do
Uh,
you not eat because you got the bubble guts because you about to hit these god awful hills. So what happens when you wake up? What do you do to get ready? You have any superstitions?
uh,
And the rest of the day.
well, like I said, one of them, don't look at race hill till day of. Clean my helmet up the night before, have everything ready. I am not a morning person at all. So anything I can do to prep the night before eases my stress level and just makes it so all I got to do is just, okay, I try and put all my race gear in a bag. So when I wake up, I grab my morning monster, not a coffee drinker, but I do drink a monster a day for breakfast,
There you go.
you know,
I drink a
and
rock star, so I know how you feel.
have a couple cigarettes, go down, jump in the buggy. Um, we got to the race hills, I think about 8 in the morning. Clyde's sending the race maps out on the phone, so I've already studied those the night before. Get down to the hill, and walk the race course from start to finish. Um, Normally it pays off. This time we'll get into that when we get to the first run. This time did make a driver error on that first hill. Caught myself, but you know, walk the first hill, focus on the first hill, try and pick my lines. Figure out what's going to work. And again, we're still learning. The new buggy and what works with the new buggy, what doesn't. And then, like I said, other than that, it's racing. It's hurry up and wait.
And what position did you go in? Did you go not the exact, but did you go front of the pack, back of the pack, or middle?
First hill I was about in middle of the pack.
Okay. Okay, so you seen a couple of people hit Maverick before you.
Nope,
No?
nope.
You just sat in your buggy and just
Yeah, I like to get strapped in. Let the buggy get up to temp. Make sure all the belts are tightened up. Make sure the buggy's running right. Just sit there and try and clear my mind.
there you go.
And focus on what I've got to do as a driver.
Yeah. So after you did the hill, then did you go watch other people?
After I did the hill and I got out of it, I was so pumped. Yeah, of course, went over and watched a couple people. I was hooting and hollering when I come
Did
down through there. Anybody in the pits that probably heard me. I was pumped when I made it out of that.
oh I bet you was you know you didn't you know what you didn't do? You didn't do a Tyler Young. That poor guy.
Oh
he got
man,
he
yeah,
got so jacked up. He would come down the hill and he turned it and he flipped. I was like, no.
yeah. It's once I realized I think I was the second one out of it, and it had a bunch of DNFs. Of course, you're always pulling for everybody to go through, but in the back of your head, you're going, you know.
Yeah.
And but yeah, like I said, I ended up pitting right beside Tyler, and first time I met him, another good dude.
Oh yeah.
Hated that for him because to be that close to get through the hard stuff and just hook a rut. I mean, I just about did the same thing on the first hill coming down through there.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
it's easy to do.
All right. So we're gonna we're gonna end the conversation right here. and then we're gonna watch this video real quick. And this is Hill One, and this is actually my first time watching the whole entire video, so this could get interesting. What a thing!
Oh yeah. I ain't gonna lie, this downhill is probably the most nerve-wracking part for me.
Boy, that was close when you come down. That
Oh
was
yeah.
yeah, that was pretty. That was, man, you beat on that thing. Beat on it.
Yeah, that was a that was an old school ticked off Chris Grigg beatdown right there. Anybody that's trail rode with me has seen those kind of stuff out of me before. I'm
Did,
just this the determined. When I set my mind that I'm going up something, I'm either going to go up it, the buggy's going to break, or I'm going to be on the top upside down.
did that thing get hot?
We went back and looked at the data logs. It never got above 230.
Wow.
Yeah, I
That's
was thoroughly impressed because I was not watching the gauges.
I didn't think you was.
I glanced over it at a couple times in there, whenever I was trying to figure out what to hit next. But yeah, like I said, that was like I said, that was just a good opportunity right there for me to just kind of play, feel the chassis out. I was just amazed at just how stable it was, and
Hmm.
just how it took all those hits and the bounces, how quickly it was able to recover.
Yeah.
The driver feedback it gave, like when I did that save where I grabbed reverse. You
Hmm. That was
know,
an awesome save too.
oh, thank you.
Awesome. So, so what I'm hearing, is Chris got you right on the first go around.
Oh yeah, on the
So,
shocks, we're
yeah.
I'm gonna say we're probably about 80%, 85%. I still feel there's a little bit of fine tuning in them, but
Nice.
for him not actually seeing the buggy in person, my
Yeah.
parents actually. That's another thing. Backtracking a little bit, the weekend before West Virginia, when I realized that we were actually going to make it, I realized suspension is so important in this game. We've got the factory tune and all these shocks, and Wizzo wasn't able to make the West Virginia race. He had some family stuff going on. I said, man, we got to get these things to Wizzo. So, of course, I couldn't, I didn't have the time from where I still had so much to do on the buggy to make a drive. So I asked my folks, I said, how would y'all like an all expense paid trip to shoot, where does Wizzo live? I'm drawing a brain fart here.
Uh,
I know he's somewhere in Kentucky.
yeah. I can't remember where exactly in Kentucky, but
But about 450 miles from where we're at. So graciously, my folks, like I said, agreed to drive him up there to Wizzo Monday for him to put a base tune in them. Get the springs, all that, and we had them back. They were back in town. I think that Monday night. So, like I said, my
that's
folks, they've been a huge help. I'm actually sitting in their garage right now. I don't have a garage. I spend all my money on this thing. One day I'll buy a house with a garage.
so their cars are sitting outside while your buggy's inside.
Kayaks.
So you as we just watched, you conquered Maverick. You went up and down and you finished. So you got a time.
Yeah.
What do you know what place you're in after that hit first hill?
Of the guys that made it, I was last. I think Brandon had me by 20 seconds. I know he was. I thought I was actually putting near him. I think he said he was having some fuel issues or heat
How many
related
people made it?
issues.
How many people?
Five.
Okay, so there's five of you made it. So five of you, all you have to do is just finish hill two.
Yeah.
So
And
let's go to hill two. How was you terrified of the hill or not terrified? Was you worried about it?
I was. That was one of the biggest uphills. And if y'all remember that Jeep buggy, it did some great wheel stands, which was great for you, but not so good for me. um, but like I said, I talked to Adam a little bit about it, after West Virginia, and he said, "Man, you can hit stuff so much harder. Just trust the chassis. Trust the chassis." And I also talked to Brandon Davis a little bit, and normally I try not, ask drivers what to do. It's race day. We're out there to compete,
Yeah,
but I did ask Brandon. He was gracious enough, I just kind of studied that hill, on some videos a little bit, had a good idea. He kind of confirmed what I said. On that one, I ended up going dead last. Glad I didn't. And I watched the UTVs, watched a couple bouncers,
so
had the
you
line to
did. So you did for hill two. You did watch them. Hill one, you didn't, but hill two, you did watch a couple.
yeah.
Okay, okay, cool. So you figured your line out. You know
Yeah, and it
which one
was
you're gonna hit. Now, a lot of people, a lot of racers, they find their line, but I know I have never raced, but I know it's not all you can't always hit your line during a race because
yeah.
the buggies you're going to get put in different situations.
Hmm.
So you found your line. Did you actually hit your line?
I was actually a little to the right of where I wanted to hit the hill, but it worked out really good.
Yeah. Yeah, it did. It worked out real good. We're gonna watch Hill 2. I got two different videos, and one of them's not real good as far as the volume because if any of y'all know, if you take video with your phone and you're close to exhaust, it distorts the sound of it. So I've got two different videos. One is Chris coming up the top of the hill, and that's from my phone. And then my buddy Bob got the whole, uh, got most of the hill. But we're gonna watch the one. The video's good, but the sound quality's not really there. But you could see you coming out the top of the hill. So let's go to here. Uh, yeah, that's good. I gotta go back. So it looked like you didn't lift, or if you did lift, you lifted just enough, and you didn't lift after that.
Yeah, like I said, I kind of hit it, mid speed. Tried to, just not hit the hill too hard, and just like I said, hit the speed just right. Let off of it just enough, to let the chassis settle back down forward. And once I felt it land, I was to the floorboard, and we were either coming out or we were coming down, and we came right on out. It was full commitment on that second hill, both on the uphill and the downhill.
Heck yeah, heck
That
yeah.
was
All right,
that was
let's
one of
watch.
them.
That's one of them. What?
That was one of them where I'd kind of been watching, who had made it, who had not made it. And I knew going into that hill, even if I just made it out of the hill, I was guaranteed a third place. But I felt like,
Because other people DNF that
yeah,
hill already. I
yeah,
got you. Okay,
you
because
know,
there's only five, so five needed to make the second hill, and a couple already DNF. So all you had to do was finish.
yeah. But I also felt that, if I pushed it, got a good time, the way the point system worked, it would maybe be able to bump me up a place.
Yep, yep. All right, here's the other video, and I loved the downhill part on Maverick. So everybody pay attention to the downhill part on Maverick. I don't know if he meant to do it. I don't
That
know.
was that was absolutely intentional. I had told my folks before the second hill. I told my mom, I said, if it looks like the throttle's hung coming down that second hill, it's just no, it's not.
All right, let's watch it. Never let
Yeah, that chassis just stayed landed.
That was awesome.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
that was awesome. So, did you finally switch gear after the finish line?
it was right there before the finish line. I hit second gear.
Oh.
Yeah,
uh,
again, that's still a learning curve on the buggy, and getting used to all the sounds it makes. So,
oh yeah.
like I said, I
Oh
definitely
yeah.
feel we had the
I
fastest
bet
time. Oh, go ahead.
I bet your heart, I bet you is so freaking excited afterwards.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I was like I said, there was a guy that was a spectator in the UTV that was parked where we were pitted where you come out, and man, I was hooting and hollering. He was just over there dying laughing. I said I didn't care. I was like I said, I felt like I was a man right there. It was just that was
Oh,
the first time that I'd ever made a second hill with the NRRA.
heck yeah.
So
That's freaking awesome. So, how'd you come out for the day?
second
What
place overall.
second place overall. Congratulations on that. That's a huge accomplishment.
Oh, absolutely. It's and we also had the fastest time on that second hill.
Nice. Heck yeah. Travis Skelton will be proud of you on that downhill. I don't know if you know who Travis Skelton is, but he's king of the UTV downhills for sure. That guy
Ah,
back in the days used to get it. But yeah, you definitely did him justice on that downhill. That was freaking awesome.
yeah,
I
that's
loved it.
that second run was full commitment up and down.
Heck yeah. Nathan says Nathan Chrismanic, is that it?
That's my crew chief.
Okay. He said Chris
Oh,
ain't got
Nate.
no quit in him. That's true. That is very true. Uh Chris Lyon says my 5.3 got so hot the computer shut it down. Dang.
I told my tuner to just disable that feature on the Holly. He asked me, he said, what temperature do you want this thing to start pulling time? And he said, normally I go about, 230. When I'm tuning them, I said, given the application, let's go about 250.
Oh man. Oh Lord. One thing I always ask my people that come on my show is, and you're in a bouncer, so I'm gonna ask you, what is your Mount Rushmore for any bouncer driver that has ever competed? There's four. I know you know Rushmore is four up there on the mountain. So who is your four bouncer drivers ever of all time?
Four favorite bouncer drivers?
Yeah.
Oh,
Or
man.
who do you think? Yeah, four favorite, four. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, four favorite.
Man, of course, Timmy. Of course, obviously, Wes Keene. Um, Man, always loved watching the Bobby Tanner stuff for the show. That guy was crazy.
And a heck of a man.
Yeah.
Heck of a
Um,
man. So that's
ha-
three.
and
I know it's
man,
tough. There's
man,
so many out
yeah,
there.
it's
You don't
it's hard
want
to narrow it down.
you don't want to leave nobody out, but you got four.
Probably here in recent years, Wade Good. He's been a heck of a driver, and hated we didn't get an opportunity to run against him before he had
Yeah.
his neck injury.
Yep. Yep. He did come on my live right before I got to Hawk Pride, and it mentioned something about maybe coming back for a race. So I'm not saying anything more, but that's just what he let the world know on my live stream when we was going to Hawk Pride. So uh you never know. He might be at it just one more time for old time's sake, just to, I don't know, but we'll see. But yeah, Wade was Wade was something else. He's Wade, West King, Timmy, and Danny uh, Smith.
Yeah, Danny was another
Those
talented
four
one.
guys right there, are probably the fastest racers I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
And I've been around a lot, and that's not putting anybody else down. I mean, just far as fast and over and over again.
fast
You know,
and consistent.
yes, yes,
It's one thing to go out here and be fast every now and then, but it's a whole nother thing to do it just week in, week out, just on repeat. That's like I
oh,
said, a lot of talented guys out there. You know,
oh yeah. I mean, you got Bubba Bacon and
hmm
Lil Tim, but just as far as just fast,
yeah.
flat out. Those was my four. But yeah, so do you have any sponsors, or you can get that thing wrapped next year, this year, or
Yeah, at some point
who
we need to do either a wrap on it or get some sponsor stickers on there. Got like I said, quite a few people have been helping me out. With parts. Of course, like I said, obviously Wide Open Design, East Coast Gear Supply, Barrier One Systems. They came on board this year.
who
Of
where they
course,
do?
they're actually based out of Greensboro, and they build barriers. Like if you've got a building or an entrance and you want to stop a tractor trailer running 60 mile an hour,
Uh-huh.
they're the guys you call.
Okay.
So
Cool.
they were big help getting raw materials,
Heck yeah.
laser cutting parts out.
Nice.
Glad to have him come on board this year because it was definitely good timing.
Cool.
Um,
I know a guy that does wraps. Uh, actually, I know a couple of people, but so I'll holler at you when we get off here, whatever. Unless you know somebody, you might want to do it local. It might be a lot easier for you.
I've got somebody that I'm kind of working with local, but I know they can do the printing side of it, maybe not so much the design work of it.
Gotcha. I gotcha.
So yeah, definitely
Um,
shoot me that information over.
if they could do the cutting it out and printing it, uh, the guy that was actually in here, he does. He was doing most of my artwork for posters and banners, and but I seen him in here earlier. Heath Lawler. Um, he's awesome graphics design guy. If you want to get with him, and he could he could hook you up with designs and stuff like that. Do you have a name for the buggy?
It is not named officially yet. I've got a few names I'm bouncing back and forth, but just I haven't found one that just says that's it.
Okay, all right.
So
Okay.
I've never really been one to name stuff. I've just the Jeep was called a Jeep buggy. you know.
uh, so has anybody else driven the buggy?
My crew chief Nate.
Okay.
He's drove it on and off the trailer a couple times. He actually whenever we pulled into Hawk Pride, we got stuck in the field that I got clarified on by Bree on the difference between a parking lot and a field. um, but we actually got stuck in the field and had to hook the bouncer to the tow rig. My tow rig's a '97 2-wheel drive Dodge. To pull the hauler out of the field. So
Oh man. Uh, what what is your favorite place? Now I know you only been to two in the bouncer, but you've been a bunch in the Jeep. What's
yeah,
your
I've been.
favorite place to race at?
Whew. That's tough. I like, Mid America was fun. It was cool. That was at that point that was the furthest I'd ever gone from home, um, like that. And then of course, Good Evening Ranch. That's a local off road park. To me, it's only like I said, only 3 hours, even though it is 2 states away, and that's
Right.
local by North Carolina definition of wheeling places. And I've trail rode up there a bunch. Of course, Gulches, South Carolina, another good park. I mean, they don't do any racing there, but just for trail riding.
Right.
You know,
So racing wise, your favorite overall one.
oh man, let's see. I'm trying to think of where all I've been. Been to uh, been to Wildcat, Dirt Nasty, Mid America, Hollerwood,
Winrock.
Windrock. Yep. And I think we also ran Chocoloco in the Jeep buggy, and now Hawk Pride. Hard to say, man. That's man, you are putting me on the spot on that one. They've all been good parks. I'd all go back to them.
There you go. There you go. So when can we expect to see you again?
I'm committed to running the full National Rock Racing Series. Signed up as a season driver. Obviously, we're a little late to the party, but we're here and we're ready to party.
So
So
you gonna get to the rest of them,
I will be at every single one of them,
even finals.
even finals, even Missouri.
Cool. I just
Both.
I just I just got my cabins booked for finals, so
Yeah, I just
I'm excited about going back there because last year I went to finals, but it was I stayed at Mid America Cabins, so I was having to commute over to Disney and come back, and I was like, I'll probably never do that again. But yeah, this time it's at Mid America, so I got my me and my buddy is gonna be there, so we're gonna be there doing the media stuff.
well,
That's
we'll
that's gonna be a blast.
we'll see you there. I booked my RV spot yesterday.
Did you? Okay, cool. Somebody on here. Oh, let's go back to the top. He's not in here no more. But Daniel Heckley says Mm, uh, Daniel Heckley said, "See you guys at Rush," and then Nick Reich. I do. Are you racing anywhere else besides the National Rock Racing Association?
There's a few things that I was toying with, thinking about, just waiting on some more information.
Okay, because yeah, Nick Wright says looking forward to racing with you, Chris, in Crandon if it happens. You going to
Uh,
Crandon?
I'm not going to commit to that one yet, but it is something that has been discussed if they let the bouncers run.
Okay, I've seen bits and pieces about it. I don't know. I know Crandon's the Ultra 4 race, but as far as what I remember, they didn't have bouncers there last year. So I don't know. Are they inputting that? Because I know Joey Beck has the shootout stuff there normally, but I'm not remembering if they had it last year there at Crandon or not. So did you get more information on it? Or are you waiting on more information?
I'm still waiting on information at this time. They were talking about having a knockout race. I think Ultra 4 USA has a post up about it. I'll let people go there. Um, and like I said, not really
Sure.
don't sure what's going on if it's going on.
Right. 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 Oh yeah, definitely. Uh So what do you think about Windrock? You like those hills?
I'd like to hit him in something a little. I'd like to hit it in that right there.
There you go.
Um, I think it'd be a lot more enjoyable than in that Jeep. It's
um,
like I said, the differences between the two chassis are just unbelievable, and how much better that rocket ship chassis is in every aspect than that Jeep.
oh yeah,
You know,
definitely, definitely. Are you gonna keep it that color, or are you gonna powder coat it, or what?
it's actually like I said, it is not that color. That is bare metal.
That's what I'm
We
saying. You
yeah.
you gonna powder coat it, or
That was my first plan, but the bare metal's kind of growing on me. I've got it coated down with some Gibbs oil after I washed it, just to kind of keep the patina, but keep it from rusting, and it's kind of growing on me. Again,
like
you know,
like the old rat rod buggy,
sort of.
Wes's?
Um, well, yeah, but yeah, like I said, for me, it's always been about getting the mechanical aspects dialed in, making sure the buggy's right. You know, cosmetics, eh, as long as it functions and it does what it's supposed to, that's what I'm concerned about.
Plus, that's a lot of freaking work tearing it all down just to get it powder coated.
It's something really. I think in this one, the way we've built this thing, we really tried to build this one easy to work on. Most all your panels are those quarter turn Zeus fasteners. That's come in handy. A couple times we had to, the first race we were down there adjusting the belts. Before the before at Windrock and actually at Alabama. And those Zeus fasteners. Like I said, it doesn't take nothing to get the panels off. We really tried to design this one to be as easy to work on as possible.
Yeah.
You know.
Um, if you got to choose a buggy that you could go and race in, whose buggy would it be? In the past or right now? It don't matter.
That's a tough one, man. There's a lot of good buggies out there. Again, I would lean toward probably something, one of Tim Cameron's,
Okay.
just because of how proven those buggies are,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
just to feel the difference.
I
Thinking
almost thought you was gonna say Wes King's buggy. That way you could see the difference between yours and his.
it was going through my brain. I thought about it. Like I said, they're the same line of chassis, but there are a lot of little differences between the two.
Yeah. Yep. So what's your favorite buggy of all time?
Oh man. Again, I am terrible about remembering names of buggies.
What color? Who owned it?
I don't know. Like I said, probably the one that got me in there, into rock bouncing, was that I think it was a Mad Ram video of Tim Cameron walking that wheelie in
Oh yeah,
what was that,
fat
Fat
girl,
Girl?
fat girl.
Yeah,
Yeah, yep,
yeah.
yep,
I
yep,
remember
yep.
watching that. When I first got in the off road stuff and going, holy cow, that's cool. I want to do that. And a decade later, here we are.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. So how old are you?
I'm 34.
34. So was you did so you've probably been 20 something. Did you ever get to go to Tellico State Line?
Right about the time I got serious into off roading and to a point where I was traveling was when they closed Teleco. I literally missed having my first trailer to pull the Jeep with, probably by like 3 months.
Man, that was the best. That is my favorite spot ever. It was always a blast. But now then we was in samurais and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
Buggies, now buggy there was some buggies there. That was the first time I ever seen a rock bouncer on lower two. And let me tell you that it was it was it was awesome. It was almost like a show because lower two was like a ravine and it had huge rocks and boulders and
yeah.
you would see people coming up through there and crowds would line up on both sides up top. And I'll never forget there was this black buggy come through there. It might have been silver. But anyways, it was at nighttime and it had purple underglow lights
Hmm.
and it was blaring Rob Zombie Dragula,
Yeah.
and it had a bass cannon in the back, and it was a rock bouncer, and I ain't never seen nothing like that in my life. I was like, and this guy coming up, I mean, foot to the floor, just bouncing off these boulders. I'm like, holy crap, what in the world is that? I was like, that is badass right there. I was like, dang. So that was my first go around with a rock bouncer. And so yeah, lower or Teleco was awesome. Nick Reich says Crandon has never had bouncer racing before. The powers that be are working through it to see if it will work. Let's all pray it works because more bouncer racing is good thing for everyone. Plus, hopefully, get to meet Chris. So Nick Reich is wanting to meet you. Um, Speaking of Nick, he runs the Outlaw series. So do you have any plans next year to follow the Outlaw series as well? Or are you just going to stick with one series? Or are you just going to see what comes available?
Gonna see what comes available. Like I said, I work blue collar. I actually work for RJR Tobacco as my day job. So I've got PTO to manage. And like I said, so it's going to be hard to commit to multiple series. Um, I would love to, and plus from a financial aspect, I will probably, again, I've run some of the outlaw stuff. Great group of guys. Not a bad thing to say about that series.
Yeah.
But I will probably run the NRRA just because they run all year.
Yeah.
And besides this, I'm single, no kids, never married. Don't really do much else besides this. so, so the longer I can extend my racing and wheeling season, the better.
Right.
But
Yeah,
like I said,
Nick has one of those old Jake Pike buggies, but let me tell you, I don't know what he's done to that buggy, but it looks so sharp. Man, it looks sharp. I love that buggy. That buggy works too.
oh yeah,
And he's a great guy.
yeah,
So uh I'm trying to think. I know they said there was Outlaw said they was gonna try to run more or less all the races to the eastern side. Well, not eastern side, but more the Tennessee, Kentucky area,
yeah,
which would be closer to you than Missouri and all that.
yeah. I guess we're in North Carolina. Close to us is we're only driving 300 miles one way.
Yeah.
I got some buddies at work that drag race, and here in the central North Carolina, there's 4 or 5 drag strips within a 30-minute drive. I'm going, yeah, 300 miles is a close race. And they're going, what is wrong with you, man? Like, man, once you get behind the wheel of one of these things, there's a reason I haven't been back to I drag raced for 2 years. There's a reason I haven't been back to a drag strip in over a decade now.
There you go. There you go.
Well, that's
that same thing as Shane Gold Rush Buggy. That's the same thing he said. He used to do drag racing and then went to bouncer. But let's see. My son Dallas says, "Why you keep putting him on the spot like that?" Sorry if I am. I'm just asking questions other people asking questions other people want answers to. But it's we've been going on about an hour and 15 minutes, so I'm gonna let you go, and I'm sure you got to get up and go to work just like I do.
Oh yes, 6:30 in the morning gets here early.
Yeah, I got to get up at 3:30.
I feel you on that. I've done the off shifts for a long time before I got this position.
There you go. There you go. Anybody you want to thank?
Absolutely. Wide Open Design. Those guys went above and beyond making the chassis happen on the timeline. East Coast Gear Supply, they supplied all the internals for the axles. They're here in North Carolina. Great company to deal with. Barrier One Systems, again, they helped me out a bunch with the raw metal. Diddy's Big Block Race Shop for helping out with the shocks. Northern Drivetrain for, like I said, they're my go-to for drive shaft related parts. All Dirt Grading and Property Solutions in South Carolina. If you ever need any dirt work done, dirt moved around, hit them up. And Jason Dillard with Hawks Motorsports down in South Carolina for coming out on site and tuning this thing in. This is the first time he'd ever rode in a bouncer, being a drag race guy.
Oh, wow.
Well, it's probably the last time he's going to ride in one.
Oh, Lord.
he said, man, this is cool, but from now on, just take data logs and send them to me.
Oh, man.
And of course, like I said, I think I've already said it, but Nathan Chrismanic for all the help he's done. And of course, like I said, my folks for everything they've done.
Cool. Heck yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming on here, and you are going to be at Rush, Kentucky.
Yep. Absolutely.
Cool. Heck yeah. Well, anytime you want to come on here, just holler at me and we'll get you back on. And I'm going to try to get people that I had on the show in the season. I'm going to try to get them after the season to see, improvements that they've done or anything like that. Oh, yeah. I almost forgot one question. What's your next upgrade to your buggy? What do you want to do next? You want to get rid of the MP205?
Yeah, that's there's a couple things I've got in mind. We're still trying to figure it out. Like I said, that's kind of classified information. Y'all will see it when it happens.
You heard that. You heard the man. He said, "Stay tuned for some tricks up his sleeve." Well, I appreciate it, my man. Thanks for coming on, and we'll see you at Rush.
Absolutely, man. Thank you, bub.
Thank you, sir. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Chris Grigg for On the Top Racing. Go over to his Facebook page and check him out. Like it, join it, follow him. On the Top Racing and Chris Grigg, 2 Facebook pages. But I appreciate Chris coming on. I don't know who we're gonna have next. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, give me the thumbs up. And let's see. I think we might try to do something right before Rush. I might try to get somebody else on right before Rush. So we will see. Nick Rock, awesome show. Keep it up. I appreciate it, sir. Thank you very much. Thumbs up, share, and I will catch you all here in a couple weeks. See ya.